Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, I've been reading some of the comments on the internet about this whole Sasha and Cody being cousins, and so many people are not liking it. Okay, there's even rumors going around snitches saying that decision was made last minute. I don't know how true that is, but just some of the stuff that I heard. And going into today's episode, we have Holly. Holly originally went to Mac's place or Maxie's place or whatever to try to find Mac. The reason why she did that is because she wanted Mac to sit there and break the news to Cody, since Sasha is she ain't hearing it. She's not hearing it, she's not believing it, she's there thinking it's one of her cons. For what reason, I have no idea. Because in our reality, we find out that she grew up with her. She grew up seeing there being in a con game. So I don't really understand why she's having such a hard time believing. Like, her cons usually has an angle, and they usually make sense. What is the sense that they're lying about this? There's a difference between somebody who is a con artist and somebody who is a pathological liar. It's kind of like a klepto. They just kind of just do it because it's an impulse. While Holly, her cons generally will make sense. But she runs into Felicia and Maxie. Which Maxie, by the way, looking pretty good. Not a lot of women wear a tank top like that. So whatever she's doing, keep doing it. But she comes in there and she tells both of them that Sasha is her daughter. And, Felicia is having a hard time believing this. Maxie is having a hard time believing this. And so, she tells a story. While she's not there going through the story, Maxie is very judgmental. She keeps passing judgment. She keeps not there throwing these little jabs and stuff like that. And it gets kind of annoying. And it's like, what is your issue with Holly? Like, what is your issue with Holly? I get that Holly was not exactly the best role model when it came towards Sasha. You made your fair share of mistakes as well. You're not exactly in any position to really be sitting there judging anybody. Not to mention, she does eventually thank Felicia for being there, because at one point she did sit there and blast her mom for just abandoning her. So, again, you really want to sit there and kind of just keep the little judgmental comments to your damn self. Anyway, she tries to get Mac, she's like, if you see Mac or whatever, she wants to see Mac to try to, get Mac to tell Cody that, you might want to sit there and put a little kibosh to this whole dating thing, because, yeah, you've been kissing your cousin. Matter of fact, the last kiss, she knew. She knew that was her cousin. I don't know what the hell made her decide to do that, but, anyway, she goes to Robert. Now, Robert already was approached by Sasha, who just walks in the door and says, just to be very clear, I'm not your daughter. Hello to you too? Honestly, tell you the truth, I think if I was Robert, I might have been triggered enough to sit there and say, good, because I don't like your energy. So you can walk your little ass right back on out, close the door behind you. How do you start off a conversation like that? I think that's my whole thing. But she tells him that, Holly Smith is saying that you're my father and everything, and Robert is not phased at all. He's not phased at all. He's not shocked. He's just like, oh, okay. Yeah, that seems about right with Holly. And so Sasha's like, you know, I feel like she's lying, and just to prove it to her, which I don't know why she would lie about that, we need to do a DNA test. Now, Robert suggests GH. Sasha's like, that's a bad idea. And we're gonna get to that other part in a second. Okay, you know what? Let me just kind of phase back to that for a minute. Because people in my chat was sitting there saying, how is that possible when she did do a DNA test? Maxie was like, yo, that's not possible because, you did a whole DNA test or whatever. And long story short, the DNA test was specific. So they weren't looking for genetic markers between Sasha's hair or Sasha's DNA and Cody's DNA. This was more about a yes or a no. Are they a match as far as Mac Mac and Cody? So it was a yes or no answer. It wasn't specifically tailored towards um, finding out if those two are related. I think you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not exactly sure how the science works, but it's like, I'm pretty sure they have to test something specifically to see if the DNA matches as far as being brother and sister. So that's pretty much how she put it, and that's just what it is. So when people sit there and go back to that test, they weren't looking for something specific between those two. They were just looking for a yes or no if Cody is Mac's father. I mean, Mac's son at the time. Um, but anyway, Robert suggests GH, and Shasta like that's a bad idea because if Holly finds out, she may sit there and try to doctor it to prove um, that they are father and daughter. So Robert's like, okay, cool, we'll use the WSB. Calls out Brendan, gets that done, and I saw in a preview, she was in there saying, oh, well, she's trying to stop me from being with Cody. I'm like, well, why would she try to stop you from being with Cody, though? That means that she would have some sort of personal issue with Cody. And that's not, what I'm saying? Like, that it's like she wasn't in town long enough to sit there and really know much about it. So it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, you're not good enough, my daughter. So I don't really understand why she is even coming at it from that angle. Now, while that's going on, you got Sam Smith telling Christina, Alexis, and Molly that she's going to be the donor for Lulu. And everyone's pretty much happy and very proud of her and everything like that. It's a nice little happy moment. But I think it was Christina that brought up the whole Rick thing. And I mean, I hate to sit there and say typical Christina fashion, but this is what we've come to expect from Christina. So Christina sits there and says that, she saw Ava and Rick just kind of having dinner and laughing. And, she was just upset about that. So she felt that she needed to say something. And Molly was like, no, you didn't need to say anything. Molly, knowing how Christina is, was like, let me guess. You started yelling. You started screaming. You caused a scene. And you strengthened Ava's case. Christina gives the usual dumb look on her face, like, I'm going to sit there. The type of look that she has on her face is like, I'm going to sit there and stand by my decision. Even though she is right. Even though she's right, I'm going to stand by my decision because I'm stubborn. Well, you're actually stupid, but we'll go with stubborn if it makes you feel better. The sad thing is that what she said was exactly what Alexis said, I think yesterday or the day before. So she pretty much is just upset at this point because she knew that's exactly what's going to happen, tanking the damn case. So those two start going back and forth, and somehow Sam gets pulled into it. And Christina accuses Molly accuses Sam of not siding with her. Christina accuses her of Sam turning her back on both of them and not picking a side. And I'm just like, first of all, Molly sounds pretty selfish, right? Are you not going to take my side? Um, hate to break it to you, but you do realize that she is both your sisters, right? Like, why would you even sit there and put her in that compromising position where she has to choose sides? So, Molly, you're a donkey for that. Christina's like, you turned your back on us and didn't pick a side. You're also a donkey for that. So they go back and forth, back and forth. It's like they got so caught up in their feelings that they forgot that she isn't there getting ready for surgery. And those two jackasses decide to sit there and make it about each other. So Sam was like, listen, this was the last thing I needed. And she walks out. And then they both stand there looking stupid and having Alexis sit there and pretty much ream them both out. And then somewhere along the lines, they kind of realize, oh, she's right. So yeah, they both get Donkey of the Day for that display. Lucas thanks Isaiah for stepping in and helping Lulu, wondering what's going on with that ventilator and if somebody tampered with it. Thinking about going to the cops, but they don't really have enough evidence. But they need to do something because, regardless of how much evidence they have, it still need to be reported by police in case somebody did. Now, granted, once again, I'm pretty sure Isaiah was the only person in the room. Unless I'm mistaken. I'm pretty sure that was the last person in the room. So, just magically turning off like that? And the rest of the episode is just kind of like whatever for the most part. Um, Chase tells Wallet that Finn is back and they're moving to Seattle. Um, so Brooklyn's upset. She feels like in a way she's losing her daughter. Chase is upset, but he's, keeping strong. Wallet's kind of sad because, she's leaving them both behind, but she's also happy that her dad is back. They have a fresh start. And, she goes to a new school, so she has to sit there and be dealing with that bully anymore. I was going to say something worse, but I decided not to. Gio comes in there, helps her pack, and just kind of be there for her emotionally. Because at this point, it's not like they're gonna bother to give him a story, which would be nice, but whatever. Um, Ned noticed that Lois has her accent back, and now she's gonna be flip flopping. She's gonna be having a quote unquote normal accent or whatever when she's work. But then when she's not at work, she's gonna go back to her um Benstein accent or her Brooklyn accent or wherever the hell she's from. So, that's pretty stupid. And then Brooklyn also forgot to sit there and tell Tracy. Now, Laura's not there thanking Tracy for stepping up and, being a good stepmother and everything. And, in the previews, it does look like Tracy is there in time to sit there and say goodbye to Violet. And Terry sits there and tells Laura that there may be potential complication. Lucky comes downstairs and sees Liz is there, and he's like, am I in the right house? Turns out Liz is there to sit there and tell Lucky the good news that Sam is going to be donating, and, so while he's happy about that, he's been agonizing all week about the choices that he made and how he failed the system. He talked about Aiden for a little bit, and I'm glad he left out the part where he was going to sit there and leave, or the fact that he went batshit crazy and tore up his family's diner. So that's good. They don't need to know about that. Also, Liz was there to sit there and babysit. I don't know why. I know Laura's back still. I don't know if I said this or not, but at some point, Holly does come back to, does go to Robert and is about to sit there and tell him about the news, and he kind of, he allows her to talk for a little bit. He's like, listen, I got some news I want to sit there and tell you. And he's like, oh, really? Okay. What is this about? So she starts sort of slow, like she's nervous to say something, and eventually it's like, oh, you mean that Sasha's my daughter? And again, he's just so unfazed by it because he knows how Holly is. He also gave her a little bit of He also gave Sasha a little bit of backstory about them. At one point he was presumed dead. They were both presumed dead, and a lot of other stuff that wound up happening during the time that I wasn't watching the show. And I'm pretty sure she was probably a baby at the time. Who knows how old Sasha is? I think that's about it. I think that's about it. But I also felt like I probably missed some stuff here or there. And I'm going to sit there and ask this question again. When these tests come back that Cody and Sasha are cousins, because she keeps sitting there saying like, oh, well, she's just sitting there trying to keep me away from Cody. Why? When they come back that they're cousins, you think they're going to go the God and Light route? Yeah, I still can't believe they actually did that. Not only can here's the thing. Them doing that was definitely out there, but the people that actually supported that incest, the people that supported that relationship, like it's already bad enough that they did it, but to actually have people that sat there and supported that, that's some real shit right there. That's some real nasty shit. Do you think that they're going to go to God and Light? That is the question. Anyway, if I missed anything, write in the comment section or come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and Restless. With that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video.